So a couple weeks ago, I made a video entitled The Curious Case of the Cardinals Losing Streak. And really what I was talking about was some of Kyler Murray, but a lot of it was just Kliff Kingsbury. And I feel like a lot of his strategies just were things that I disagreed with. I felt like he could have done a much better job on a lot of these plays. And really what I mainly got into was the fact that you have a quarterback who has a big arm and you have DeAndre Hopkins, a great deep ball receiver, but they couldn't really get these plays to last long enough because of their lack of an offensive line. But to my surprise, they've done an incredible job of fixing that, doing a lot of the things that I was thinking they should do. So great job by them to really realize what the issue was and start changing these things, which is really difficult to do when you don't have that much time to prepare. Like, this play is a small thing, but I like it, where what's going to happen is you have, three receivers who are running to the left, but the real thing I like about this play for Arizona, playing man coverage, these are routes that can work, specifically Larry Fitzgerald's, he's the one who's starting on Murray's right, but is going to run to Murray's left. I like that route. But again, what I really like about this play is they're going to have multiple tight ends to Murray's right start off blocking, which I think is key. Give Murray some extra blockers so that way you can give him more time to throw the ball down the field. So Murray takes the snap, he fakes a handoff, and he is going to have time now to make this throw down the field. Fitzgerald makes the grab, and they pick up a pretty big gain on that one. And that's what you can do. And again, he's so good at throwing the ball deep. This team is so good with those deep shots. So give him time. That's what you really need. And I think during the losing streak, a lot of people blamed the injury, but I really think that the offensive line not giving him time to throw the ball down the field was a huge factor. I really do believe that. This is an awesome play that I'm going to show right here, because this is one of the things that I talked about. Start doing these rollouts. You wouldn't see Arizona do it too much. You saw them do this to some degree against Philadelphia, and it was really cool to see, where it is going to be a rollout to Murray's right. You're going to have a tight end who's blocking. Again, I like that. Have your tight ends block, and watch how he's going to sort of block the edge rusher sort of towards the middle of the field, which will make the rollout easier, and then you have multiple receivers who could potentially get open. Murray takes the snap. It's a play action, which is another thing I talked about. Run play action more, and they're able to do that now because Murray runs out, so now he has time, and players are going to get open. This is just exactly what you want. This is perfect. This is basically them, I feel like, answering the prayers of every Cardinals fan. Murray makes this throw. They pick up another first down. I mean, again, that's just awesome. That's just so cool to see a guy like Kliff Kingsbury sort of realize the situation and make these adjustments. I just think it's really cool to see that. I like this one too, because they're not necessarily doing anything too fancy. This is just a typical deep play down the field, but I like it still because a lot of times Kyler would take deep shots. They often weren't designed to deep shots. They just kind of worked out that way. Now we're seeing Kingsbury just start running plays that are designed for deep shots and saying, you know what, if Murray gets sacked, Murray gets sacked. This is almost like something out of the Bruce Arians playbook a little bit, to borrow from another Cardinals former head coach, but not quite the same thing. And also, you're not running it nearly as often as he would. But yeah, basically the main idea behind this scheme is just the safety's either going to stay deep or he's going to come over the middle. You throw it to the other guy. That's the way it works. Murray takes the snap. He, again, fakes a handoff. We saw a lot of that in this game. And he looks over the top, and you see how the safety comes in. But what's interesting here is that both defensive backs who are in charge of covering the corners see what concept it is, and they're going to stay deep. So typically, this would be a one-on-one matchup and potentially a touchdown. But Philadelphia actually plays this one pretty well in terms of they're still going to get a double team deep down the field, which is good and not what Murray is expecting, I don't think. So Murray throws it there, but it's still not a problem because now you have DeAndre Hopkins, who it's going to take more than two guys to stop him from catching a deep pass because he's able to make the grab. And that's the thing. It's like you have DeAndre Hopkins, you have Murray, try to make these plays work. There even was some pressure on that play. Fletcher Cox got to Murray pretty quickly, but they don't need that much time. You just need a little bit. And so to see Kingsbury kind of say, all right, let's do this. This isn't what I'm used to, but, it's what they're good at, so let's do that. Just awesome to see. Like, this one's another great play where what I love about this is just how simple it is. Because sometimes I feel like smart offensive coordinators can outsmart themselves. Well, Kingsbury, all he's doing is saying, hey, you know what? They're playing man. They like to play one safety deep. Let's just put Hopkins on the edge, give him a one-on-one matchup, have him run down the field. Kyler's going to hit him. We're going to get a touchdown. It's that simple sometimes. And watch, there's not a ton of separation, but this is just a beautiful throw from Kyler and a great grab from Hopkins, and if you're going to leave him on a one-on-one matchup like that with only a safety deep, it's going to result in touchdowns. I mean, you got to double him if you're Philly, and they didn't, and Arizona took advantage. I feel like sometimes even when that happens, Arizona wouldn't take advantage, but you got to take advantage of those situations, and that's what they're doing here. So again, I feel like I keep saying awesome after every play, but this was my favorite game I've seen Kliff Kingsbury call. I think it really was. It was great. Now, there was a mistake by Murray. I want to talk about this a little bit, and then I have something else I want to bring up. But I do think this is a mistake. I want to talk about exactly what happened. This was the interception in the red zone, which you never want to do, although I do understand it. So here's the play. It's man coverage, and he has a receiver running over the middle. This can work. Sort of cuts back over the middle eventually. And it's a one-on-one matchup. So again, it's not Hopkins here, but it's a pretty good play that can work. Murray takes the snap. He looks to his left at first, then looks over to his right. And there is an opening right here. Murray should make this throw right now. Why isn't he? Well, because there's pressure in that area. You look at the line, and they're kind of blocking off this throwing lane a little bit. And so Murray's trying to wait a little bit. And, I mean, let's be honest. We all know all of the boomers were saying that Murray couldn't play because he's too short. This is one of those instances where that can be a small effect, where you have the offensive and defensive linemen you have to throw over. It does make it a little bit more difficult when you're, 5'10", or 5'11", whatever he is, as opposed to 6'5". Not a big deal, but there is some small truth to that. Murray waits a little bit, then he makes a throw, and by that point, the safety got over, cut it off, and intercepted it. He also never saw the safety. I mean, clearly that was another issue. So it looks ugly when you watch it. It looks like what in the world, Kyler? But there was a reason for it, and he just hesitated. You can't hesitate. Not a great one. I'm also not going to kill him for it. I'm just not. And I understand if you think that's still an ugly interception. It definitely isn't pretty, but most interceptions aren't. I do understand it, though. And finally, let's talk about this play. So you might be wondering, Jackson, why are you showing an Eagles-Saints punt play? And I paused it right here, so don't worry. Your phone isn't broken, or your computer isn't. I just paused it. But why am I showing this play? Well, really what I want you to take a look at is going to be just the dead center of this formation. Look at the interior guys for the New Orleans Saints. When this punt happens, watch how they end up getting past the defenders right there a little bit. That happened in this game. The Saints, give credit to their special teams, they hustled, and I think Arizona probably owes them a thank you note for that, because they realized, oh, hey, if guys are getting past the defense like that when they're not even trying, just because they're hustling, what if we had someone who was designed to do that? So in the fourth quarter of a tie game, this would happen, where they would end up running a fake punt on a 4th down and 2, and they took advantage of that with the passing play, which I think is just really cool and really clever. Like, watch how you see it's going to work. The punt is there, and then because someone's able to get past the defense, like we saw, they're able to get that completion. So again, that's watching tape, seeing something, and taking advantage. They absolutely owe the Saints special teams coach a thank you note for hustling there to allow them to see something. So good job. That's just one of those cool things. I'm not sure if that's Kingsbury. I don't know who that is. But again, just something I wanted to talk about from that game. I always love that kind of thing. And so the first thing I did once I saw the fake punt was I went back, watched some previous tape, and tried to figure out what they saw, and there you go. But also, I mean, the risky situation to do that. 4th down and 2 at your own 33-yard line in the fourth quarter of a tie game, that takes some guts, so definitely give credit to everyone in that coaching staff involved. They knew that there were some issues, and they've done everything in their power to fix them, and this Cardinals team is as good as it's ever been. I really do believe that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.